So it's beginning of a new year, and all kinds of folks making New Year's resolutions, making vision boards, putting out there, this is what I intend, this is the experience I'm looking forward to having in the coming months, in the coming days, in the coming year. How are these things possible? How's it work? We've talked repeatedly that I would be really surprised if my dog ever gave birth to a chicken, because like creates like, and so the Creator created little creators, which is us. And so because our dad, because our Father, our God, created us as creators, that's how all these things are possible. We don't have to earn our way into it. Birds don't have to earn their way to flying, they just fly. My daughter doesn't have to earn her way into anything. She's just Trinity. And in Trinity, she's perfect. Well, all of us are a Trinity. All of us are God's kids. And because we're God's kids, and because God loves us, and because we have a piece of God inside of us, we have the ability to create as the Creator does. And we do this consciously and subconsciously. We do it willfully, and we do it by default. We were born with the ability to say, I have the ability to define myself. But it takes intention to say, this is who I am. This is what I believe. This is the direction that I'm going. The default setting is to let other folks do it for you. And other folks will step right up to the plate to define your reality for you. You are this, you are that, you are this, you are that, you are here, you are there. And they'll define it for you if you let them. Or you can define it for yourself. And sometimes there's a little bit of a teeter-totter that goes on there. But we have the ability, based on what we think and what we feel, to be creative. And in that creativeness comes creation. Comes the reality that we intend to live when we decide to push pause on letting the world define for us who we are, what our circumstance is, what our reality is, and when instead we plus record on what we want to say into that, and then we hit play and put on a loop, so that we're continually hearing this reality that we believe being reverberated back to us. And that's why we make things like vision boards. It's taking that moment in time and saying, this is who I believe I am, this is what I believe I can have and do and accomplish, and in this clarity of thought, let me hit the record button. And then the whole rest of the year, let me hit play. Every single day, when we wake up in the morning, look at that vision board, say a prayer, say a positive affirmation, connect with what's in there, and create a me that's a match to that. Everything that's on everyone's wish list already exists. It already exists. No matter what we put on there, it already exists. No matter what we put onto a New Year's resolution board, it already exists. We're just changing ourselves to be a match to it. If God is in everything, including us, then a part of us is also in everything. When a lot of folks watch The Secret, it pretends like all of the stuff that's outside of us, we have to draw it into us. Well, if we have to draw it into us, then it's not here already. Instead, what I found is that when I know that it's already here, then it becoming a match and it coming into my reality happens much more effortlessly. For years and years and years, I was a single guy because I got married at like 37. And so I kept creating this ideal mate with all of the things that I thought would be an ideal mate. And I would continue to manifest what I put on that board that wasn't my ideal mate. Because in here, I knew that there was a hole, there was something that was missing. And once I had this thing, this person, this love, that then I'd be complete. And so there was a self-proclaimed hole in here that I was looking to fill, and when I would meet people, I'd say, hi there, will you fill my hole right here? I have a job for you, I have a job for you, I have a job for you. And you're like, whoa, needy guy, what's going on? And the ones who were bold enough to say, okay, I'll do it, I went, no, you're not supposed to actually do that, let me run away. because I didn't believe that it should be filled. I was used to it. What happened though was at some point I pushed pause on this thing that the world was saying. And I said, okay, if my soulmate already exists, if she's already out there, then why does it have to go through my filter of meeting her at the store or Match.com or whatever the thing was? If she already exists out there, I want a relationship with her. I want a relationship with her right now. And so I pushed pause on this, and I went into meditation, and I connected my spirit to her spirit because I knew that she was looking for me as desperately as I was looking for her. And every night we had date night. Every night at 9 o'clock on the dot, I would go into my meditation, and my soul would connect with her soul, and hours, minutes would pass in just absolute bliss. Now the world would tell me, Scott, you're still single. All this imaginary stuff is just imaginary. You're still single. And I got this friend and you should meet her and blah, blah, blah. But when my reality was stronger than the reality that other folks were trying to put in, I said, no, you don't get it, dude. I'm totally in love. I'm totally in love. And they said, well, yeah, with your imaginary friend. And I said, no, with her spirit. With the spirit of my ideal mate on this planet right now. And she loves me too. Within a month, she had physically manifested. A couple of years later, I married her. It's the same thing with a job. It's the same thing with the money. It's the same thing with a house. It's the same thing with a freedom. That when I don't feel that I have it, and I'm chasing and I'm chasing and I'm chasing it, just like with my old dating life, either one, they would deny me what I wanted, which allowed me to feel normal for me, or they would try to give me what I wanted, and I would dismiss it away. It must be too good to be true. There's strings attached. There's whatever it is I got to run. You actually want to give me what I want. When instead, in here, I said, okay, hold on, wait a second. God is in here, and God is also in this thing, this experience, this whatever it is that I really want. So rather than chasing it as the world would have me do, what if I just relaxed? I got in that meditative space, and I recognized that that thing was already inside me. And I loved it, and I welcomed it, and I appreciated it, and I was so thankful to have this thing. That within a short time, it becomes real. The secret, and these different ways of thinking, that proclaim that there's a hole inside you that's outside of you and you have to magnetically attract it in and it'll fill the hole like a puzzle piece, assumes that you can change things outside of you, which I believe we can, but I also believe that it is 1,000 times easier to change me than it is for me to change you. We have friends, we have family, we have kids. We just wish we could just put them on remote control and we could control them for a couple of days or a month and we could get their world just right if they'd just listen. And they don't. And that boss, and if I could just put him on remote control and this whole reality thing, if I could just design it right out, and you would be this and I would be that and you would be this and everything would be just fine. And I love that movie, Bruce Almighty, where a guy tried it, and it didn't work worth a darn. But the point is that I can control me. You can control you. Now, what I changed before getting my relationship was me. I didn't change Mary. I didn't change this imaginary girlfriend. I changed me to be a match to that which I really wanted. Because the me that had the hole, that believed that it wasn't in me already, wasn't a match to the me that had it. There was a belief system in here. There was something that somebody or many somebodies had played into my consciousness that I recorded and kept replaying over and over and over about, well, all the good ones are taken. Well, you know, blah, blah, blah. Well, this, that, you know, whatever it is. And it's the same thing. Again, it's not just relationships, it's job. It's well, you know the economy right now, blah, 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 blah. You know, just all the stuff that we're playing somebody else's tapes. When we look at, like, let's say a job, for example, there are millions of job openings right now. millions of companies who are wanting me, who are wanting you, who are wanting exactly what it is you will provide. They're looking for you. They're searching for you. And whatever the circumstance is, it's in this field or that field, that pays this much, it's located there, whatever the criteria are, either the criteria can change or we can change, whether it's already a match. Whichever it is. Because it already exists out there. Once it already exists in here too, then it's easy for it to become part of this actual reality that we're living. So when you think about your 2013 wants and goals and resolutions and vision boards and all these things, when I look at my past vision boards from years past, and I look at the parts that came true, that came into my reality, they were the parts I was most comfortable with. They were the parts that I believed I already had. And the parts that didn't come true, what Mary and I do throughout the course of a year with our vision boards, is whenever we've experienced whatever it was that's on the board, we put a little sticker on it. And at the end of the year, we look at our last year's vision board, and all the little stickers are on it. We go, oh, these things came to manifest, and these things didn't yet. Now, the things that didn't yet, are they just taking a little longer, and so they need to come onto this year's vision board? Or is it something I really even want anymore? Or something that made a lot of sense to me a year ago that I really don't resonate with today? When I looked at the things that didn't have a little sticker on them at the end of the year, they were things that I believed were outside of me. They were things I wished for. I wish this, and I wish this, and I wish that. And so my relationship with me and this thing was a wish relationship. So what continued into the next year is I still wished for it. That was a match for me. The thing existed, I existed, it was outside of me, and I felt I would feel better if I got it, so I liked wishing for it. But I didn't change me to having it. I kept me to wishing for it, so I kept wishing. And I kept wishing, and sometimes it's been on my vision board for years. In fact, quite a lot about my little garage, because I'm so stoked about it. It was on my vision board for 5 years. But I didn't believe that I could have it. I didn't feel like it was already in me. At whatever point I believed that it was already in me, that was already part of my reality, and I could love it, and I could be thankful for it, and be so excited about it. Not long after is when inspiration struck Mary, and she did it, and it's a match, and oh my gosh, there it is, and now I walk in it every day. So when you look at your 2013 vision board, when you think about your goals and, gosh, this year really could be the year of this, or of this, or of that. I honestly believe that it is, and it can be, and it is right now. If you connect to that piece of whatever it is that's already inside you. And really pay attention to not just your thoughts, but your feelings surrounding this thing when you find yourself starting to walk towards it. And when something that's fear-based shows up, it goes, oh, okay, hold on a second. Is that really my thought? Or is that someone else's thought? If it's somebody else's thought, then let me push pause. Because these old tapes that play in our head often weren't true when they were said. But we've replayed them so often that they've become our truth, our reality. But when we stop and we question for just a second, is that me or is that somebody else? Do I want to own that or not? And if I don't like that tape, can I rewind and record over it? And intentionally play a different tape. Because if I can change me to the me that is a match for these things, I can have it. It amazes me that the power, not only of the mind of how we think about something, but how we feel about something. A couple of years ago, with Mary's help, I lost like 60 pounds and felt great and blah, 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 blah. Because the fit me, the healthy me, was inside of me. When I thought it was outside of me, I had to go chase it. And I had to go do what all these tapes, old tapes that I had to do in order to get this ideal body, this ideal me. and with a pregnancy and with whatever and blah, 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 it's come back on again. And then a week ago I decided, well, that's not the way I want to go. Let's take it back the other way. And the point is that in the morning I step on the scale and I look, and there's a number that pops up, and that number is looking back at you. It amazes me that 2 years ago, when I weighed a whole bunch more than that number, when I finally saw that number looking back at me, I was doing a happy dance because it was going in the right direction. This year, when I jumped on the scale and I looked and I saw the same darn number, I was so depressed because I was going in what I perceived to be the opposite direction. The number is the same number. I'm the same me. How I chose to feel about that number has changed dramatically. And as long as I didn't like that number, there was something inside of me that there was a hole that was saying, but when that number says this number, then I'll be good, happy, successful, whatever it was. Healthy, blah, blah, blah. But that number's outside of me. And so instead, I took the ideal number that I wanted and I put it inside of me. And I just rested with it. Wow, yeah. Yeah, I like that. My body knows how to be that size, knows how to be that weight, knows how to be that thing. It already is. It's just got a little padding on it. That's okay. When I first started working with Mary a couple years ago and I came to losing all that weight, she said, you need to look in the mirror and find at least one body part that you love so that you can love your body and let it expand out from there. Well, I'm a very literal kind of guy, so I'm looking in the mirror. You know, she actually do this exercise naked. You're looking in the mirror like, oh, huh. Yeah, I like me with the lights off, baby. Huh? And she said, no, because you're hiding. You need to embrace, you need to love that part of you that already is just, your ideal is perfect. And so in my restroom mirror, that the mirror starts right about here, I would hold a sheet of paper that covered right about here at the chin that I didn't like, and this one part of my chest looked pretty good. And I'm like, that little part of my chest, I dig it. I love my body, that rocks, and I could believe it because that one little, you know, it might have only been 2 square inches, but it was a cool 2 square inches. But what it brought to me was that I already had that thing that I wanted that I felt had eluded me for all of these old tape reasons. And as the days and the weeks continued, that 2 square inches became 3 square inches and 4 square, well then it became from here to here was okay, and then became, and just has worked its way throughout. And then it worked so well that it was on autopilot that way for a year and a half, and then I forgot. Well, help me remember who I am. Help me remember what works. And so a week ago, I found myself back in the mirror going, there's that patch of chest. Let's start there, because I love it. So when you look at your vision board, is it something that's outside of you or something that's inside of you? What you is a match to this reality that you're creating. Because God's already in it, and God's already in us. Nothing is denied us. There is no being worthy of it. We have it just by being who we are. And again, it's easier to see in other folks, but Trinity doesn't need to earn anything to have my love. She just needs to be her. Well, you just need to be you, to be God's kid who's perfect and loved. And God isn't a God that takes that carrot and dangles it ahead of you and says, come this way. We do that ourselves. God says, you are the carrot, and the carrot's already inside you, and you're already inside the carrot. And whatever path you need to go to get there, I'll bless it. If you get a little too far off the way, I'll nudge you. You get really far off the way, I'll get that big spiritual 2x4 out and pop you back onto the path. But we're not in it alone. We have God, our spirit guides, angels, and each other to help us remember who we are. To help us remember that we are the creators, little creators. Little isn't a small, like a push down thing. It's more like Trinity's a little human. She's just a little human. She's going to be a great big human. no doubt at some point, because there's a lot of height on my wife's side of the family, I'll be going, hey, Trin, how you doing? Because with some of Mary's other kids, it's, hey, Park, how you doing? Hey, Trina, how are you? At some point, she'll probably be bigger than me. But we're the creator's little creators. Embrace that creativity that is your essential nature. Let go of the how. Realize there is no hole. Fill that hole with the perfect puzzle piece match to that, and become the version of you that has and lives and experiences this thing. And as you do, all of these limiting factors of other people's thinking push pause. And as we walk into this and we know that it works, and it's proven to us over and over and over again that it works, then we have the ability to live even more abundantly, because then we can help other folks and say, dude, you're telling me these things that you want, I'll show you the roadmap to get it. Because it's already worked for me and my whole family and my friends and connections and all these folks, it's already working. Come, let's help you get to what you want. Let's help you get what you need. And in doing so, it's like God, the God outside of us and inside of us, smiling as that light bulb comes on and we get it. And our hearts expand and we help give it to other folks as that light bulb comes on and then shines out of us. Changing the vibration of ourselves, those we come in contact with, and ultimately all over the planet. Thank you.